Top 10 cards you're going to want to pick up from this year's Rarity Collection 2. Make sure you guys smash the like, grab button, that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome. We're going to be starting off over here with the Blue Eyes cards. So the Bingo Machine, the Spirit Dragon, and all of the little good stuff that this set kind of brings to the table here. To all of you that know, we just got a Blue Eyes deck announced here in the OCG, which probably means common reprints for most of this. But to the people that like the higher rarity cards, this is a genuinely good opportunity to get your foot in the door and just prepare early. This is what we talk about on this channel, is being prepared. We're the doomsday preppers, after all, out here to make sure that, we can get the most out of our, money in terms of this. And I do think some of these QCRs for Blue Eyes are going to be extremely cheap. And that means opportunities to make sure you can have whatever you want in terms of collectability. And most of, the Spirit Dragon's what, like a 2 of? So it's not like you're breaking the bank having to pick that up. If you're a Blue Eyes player wanting to pick this stuff up, look at the QCRs for Dark Magician from the first set. All right. Next up is high rarity polymerization. Somebody's gonna be like, why are you even talking about this out here? The casual player base is one of the biggest player bases. Actually, they are the biggest player base in the game. The people you'll never meet that go to the LGS, they're going to see this higher rarity polymerization, especially the hero players out here. They're going to eat this up. I would not be surprised if regular old polymerization was one of the secret bangers of this set. Just because you look at the card and you're like, wow, you can have a quarter century polymerization. Now, it's not a fancy alt art or anything like that. Yeah, sure. But what you do have in front of you is, if you do love these old school decks and, the ability just to slam down a basic old polymerization, 150% this is going to be for you. So keep an eye on the original polymerization in this set. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing just how that card's going to go sideways. And we have Unchained. Finally, Unchained is affordable. Well, more affordable. Soul Lord of Yama is still a thing that breaks banks out here with this. And I hate to be the one to tell you this, but A-Bomb's Prison and the Soul of Rage were probably two of the most expensive cards that we really had walking around out here for this deck. And they're affordable now. You know what? You can even get these things in super rare, which means even better out here, that you'll be able to have these just super readily available to you. So finally, Unchained looking way better out here. Like, I guess, like, if you're trying to play, the more hybrid build, obviously the deck's kind of moved towards the Ubel side of things more recently, though we did have a build just top a regional. So there is hope out there, actually, for this. But I'd keep this as a budget idea. Same thing with Red Eyes Dark Dragoon out here. I don't want to hear anybody complaining that Red Eyes Dark Dragoon is now an expensive card for anti-meta decks. That is no longer an option. The casual Dark Magician player now can afford a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, because this thing should be a couple of dollars max, alright? Now, obviously, when you're fighting in the quarter century, and the higher rarity slots, that's a completely different story out here for what you'd be expecting for the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon man themselves. But this card is fantastic. I love this. Dragoon, I'm very curious to know what the QCR is going to settle at. As of filming this, the Starlight was at about 200. We're going to start to watch that card probably flush down a toilet here in the near future as we see more of the market kind of decide where it's going to reprice everything. Next up is Garua. Holy crap! Finally! Garua should not have... I get that, like, this was a TCG exclusive, and we needed to flush the reprint equity out of that card. But the problem was, this was a TCG exclusive, and the card was insane, right? Like, super poly everywhere out here. The fact that, you looked at this card and you're like, holy crap, like, Garua does so much, especially for the more casual players that you're using the Dogmatica punishment to, try to clean up these fields and you try to get into a game-winning position out here. Garua was one of those cards that you no longer have to spend that $20 price tag on. Budget, alright? I consider that an absolute banger win for this set. You know, it's not a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, but, you know, saving yourself money where you can is always going to be good. Now we have DD Crow in here as well. Really, the Crow Man themselves. Well, we knew most of the hand traps were reprinted in this set. I do expect most of your hand traps are probably going to be fighting for the top spots in this set, typically because people want the higher rarity ones. I mean, if Rarity Collection 1 is any crazy example of what you can expect out of this set, yeah, the hand trap wars are going to be a huge, huge thing, as you're going to have people toppling over each other going, oh, you know, like, I can pick this up now. This is the rarity choice I want. Yes, it is. You can get your flavor of whatever you want for the hand traps now, especially with the DD Crow out here. To be fair, though, I think we're finally at the point that there are enough crows in circulation that we shouldn't have to watch Crow go over $1 again. Like, honestly, I'm happy about that, because having to look at Crow and you're like, wow, this card is worth like $3. That's what happens when you have something as old as time itself. Next up is Ghost Ogre. Now this was actually a well-timed reprint on Konami's behalf. Good shit, actually. The fact that Ogre is lining up with a format where it's actually in play, I think is going to propulsion, you know, Ogre up into some interesting heights out here. Now, obviously, there are going to be some hand traps I'm not going to mention in this video, like Mourner and Phantasme. You already know those are things you should be keeping an eye on. But Ogre is one of those cards that you also need to be keeping the extra eye on, because it's the alt art. An alt art available in QCR. You know, you do have the original alti if you want to run around with the higher rarity stuff. That's for sure. But I don't know, that's just kind of what I'm looking at here with this set. I'm impressed with what we're dealing with this, but for now, keep an eye on the Ogre. All right, I think that this might actually be a really good banger in the set. Last for the hand traps is the Droll and Lockbird. Alt art, original. Yeah, you get your slice of what rarity you want for the Droll and Lockbird. I'm actually very happy to see that the alt arts are kind of coming to fruition here for this set, and I especially want to emphasize Droll. I think Droll, I don't know. I think Droll's going to be one of the more expensive cards in this set. I guess it comes down to how much do people actually appreciate the alt art QCRs for the higher rarity side of the market, and then just to kind of consider, you know, the overall hand trap value that people are expecting to be seeing in here. I don't know. I do think, however, though, that Droll is definitely going to be on the bucket list for 150% of people. Card looks gorgeous in its higher rarities. So, all of the hand traps need to be on your list. Next up is Crossout Designator. This one was kind of a no-brainer here. Before this set was even piping down the pipeline here, Crossout was hitting like, what, $15? Crossout was kind of turning into one of those cards you were looking at that you want to be able to counter specific, more mirror match to metas. It's definitely a local grinder card for sure, and especially, you know, if you're running into all the Snake Eyes matchups as well, you would rely on this card to shut out those games and actually make sure you don't lose to hand traps. Crossout is really like our only line of defense against the craziness that happens with, you know, the BS of these hand trap metas. And now that you can get the card in Ultimate Rare, Quarter Century, this is 7 more printings of this card into the market. I think that this is good. This gives budget players especially a chance to counteract all of the hand traps that we've been seeing out here, which, once again, banger job, Konami. I like what I'm seeing here, all right? This is a win for the community. I am hoping, though, that this card's like 50 cents to $1 for most people. And then we have the IP alt art and the Appaloosa, which I think these are the headliners of this set. Both the IP and the Appaloosa are the things that people want most out of this set. You know, the Apple being a little bit less exciting than the IP, because like this set, people are just like, oh, Quarter Century. You know, this set really just feels like it was driven just to push, you know, the power of the alt art IP. And I do think it was. I think they built this set on the fact that people wanted the alt art IP and the Appaloosa alt arts just so they could get them. So keep that in mind out here. It's gonna be very interesting. So those are my top 10 pickups I recommend for this set. Make sure you guys Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. You agree, disagree. I'll see your beautiful face back here in a day, guys. Peace.
Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.